Yeah, already on the road, already started, already got the show on the road type shit. Now I ain't gonna lie, I'm checking out this DDG album that he literally cooked up. You know what I'm saying, live on live stream, right? I feel like with every recording, bro, that he experiments with live on stream, you know what I'm saying? He gets better with it. He gets better with each recording. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I could respect that, bro. Shout out Moo. He says he's gonna, you know what I'm saying? He's gonna go by the artist name Moo dropping this one. You know what I mean? I don't know. I feel like at this point it's a social experiment, right? An interesting one at that. I'm not gonna hold you. Man. I feel like I already got my favorites, bro. I just want him to drop it, you know what I mean, officially, so that we can see how it does, how it really goes, etc. Right? Go ahead and start with the Spotify joint. Spotify title, well, Spotify logo on the thumbnail. It's a no labels necessary channel. I don't know if any of y'all is familiar with that. No labels. Because we are on top of it anyway. Pause. I'll go ahead and just like zoom in on it. No labels necessary. Hopefully y'all can see that. Sometimes I've realized sometimes y'all cannot see like the titles or the name of the channel. Sometimes, you know what I'm saying. It's pretty weird. Why artists are finally leaving the platform in 2025? Mad curiosity inducing, right? Or it's yeah, it sensitizes my curiosity. That's what the title did. So let's jump in.
It feels like every few months I see a post from an artist saying that they're done with streaming. And it always goes the same way too. They post their numbers from a DSP payout and it shows them making like $42 for 100,000 streams or something like that. And at first, I thought they were exaggerating until I saw this.
Spotify is messing up on so many levels. Number one, you're already paying artists 0.00033 cents per stream. We've been living with that for a while. It gets worse. Universal Music Group owns half.
Bro, don't tell me Spotify still ain't changed that shit, bro. I heard it was a couple months ago. There was a sort of headline that went something along the lines that, you know, Spotify, some legal practitioner was going, you know, against Spotify, you know, for their low rates that they be paying artists and stuff like that, and that, you know, from that moment on, artists are to expect, I don't know, some bigger cut. I thought that shit would like change. I thought that shit would already changed or some shit. Clearly not, dog. If niggas is still like complaining that, you know, Spotify ain't paying, you know, artists nothing.
Or more of Spotify, because they said, hey, if you want to put our signed artists' music on this platform and we want to license it out to you, then you got to give us ownership of this company. And we got to get a different streaming rate paid out to our artists. But the artists that we sign in our 360 deals, they don't even get to make any money off of streams.
Why?
Yeah, all the signed artists, your favorite people that you love, they only make money off of tours. And so where does that money?
That's still the general narrative. I mean, I've been hearing about it too. The fact that, you know what I'm saying, these niggas ain't doing nothing off of their music. They're not making nothing off of their music itself. You know what I'm saying? They got to do a whole lot of miscellaneous things to like keep their business, you know, to keep sustaining themselves and their brand and they blah blah blah.
You go. Because crazy. 98% of the streaming royalties go back to who? UMG for recouping the advance that they gave these artists to begin with when they signed them, right? So, you know, UMG owns half of Spotify and the business model is set up to feed UMG at a disproportional rate while artists get 0.00033 cents per stream. Then Daniel Ek, the CEO of Spotify, as a result of this business model, becomes a billionaire 5-6 times over. You know, maybe he could invest back in the app and make it better for artists, make it better for us to get paid and to have more equitable streaming revenue.
Wrong. You know what I'm saying? Wrong. And I feel like it's this whole model of like, you know, bro, the capitalism or the capitalistic system and how it's now, you know, how it's planted its own seeds within the psychologies and minds of, you know, individuals like owners and the runners of these corporate giants like UMG. Like people like this have to make more for the thing to, like, it's like the greed is part of the package. You know what I'm saying? It's like the more we make, we have to make more than that. Every time. That's how we know we're better. That's how we know we still deserve to be in the space of making money. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking just, you know, within the angle of them just like making these billions 5-6 times over, and them not, you know what I'm saying, not reinvesting in these platforms that could make artists' experience on them better. It's like, nah, bro. They of course they gonna pocket everything for themselves, and you know what I'm saying, leave the rest up to the dogs, the crumbs, that is. You know what I mean? Like the pie that all these artists that are on the platform have to share, dog. It's always been baffling to me, but that's always been just like the capitalistic philosophy, or their way, the way that you mark that your, you know what I'm saying, your ways of making your capital is valid. You gotta be making more. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the saying? More output, less input for more output type shit. Less input for more output. Do your homework. I'm telling you, it's a thing.
No, we're not gonna do that.
Yeah, for
He's
sure.
going to invest, which he already did, $700 million in a AI military drone company called Helsing, where he is a board member. So
Helsing? The hell is that? I ain't never heard no Helsing.
Anybody that is generating streaming revenue on Spotify, their music is making UMG and Daniel Ek money, and is funding military drone investments that does facial recognition. Where you think they testing this stuff at? I'm just theorizing. But
so the agenda is deeper here. That's why there's no such thing as maybe, you know what I'm saying, advancing and reinvesting into what people are trying to find value in, extract value in, put value in. You know what I'm saying? The agenda is deeper. You know what I'm saying? It might be military aligned. I don't know, man. It might be, you know what I'm saying? It might be just like advancing the fourth industrial revolution in other regions of the world so that they can take over those regions. Come on, man. I feel like it's recolonization all over again, just in other forms. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, we already conquered, y'all. We already conquered this part of, you know what I'm saying, the world with this, you know what I mean, with this Spotify system that we got niggas occupied with. Now let's, you know what I'm saying, now let's reinvest, or let's just like plant seeds elsewhere where we can just like put our claws in and just like, you know what I'm saying, bully the whole scene type shit. Bullying the scene. This is some corporate bullying the scene type shit, I'm telling you.
then it gets worse again. Spotify just updated their terms and conditions.
Why?
And I don't know if it's in effect now or if it's going into effect, but basically, they reserve the right to exploit your music just by the basis of you uploading it to Spotify.
Wow.
They can remix your song. They can repurpose it. They can literally do anything with the work. You still retain ownership, but they can exploit it in any means, including changing lyrics.
It's crazy. I feel like I think on my previous video I was talking about just like the distinguishable difference, you know, with the rise of AI music. You know what I'm saying? AI be dropping music, and so therefore now I feel like majors are gonna be signing more and more of these AI artists. You know what I'm saying? And then obviously, you know, real human artists are gonna eventually be phased out. But then now, you know, when now we will get to a point where there's gonna be this divide, bro, where it's like, yo, as we run AI, bro, we have the liberty to do whatever we want. It's AI. AI is not gonna rebel. AI is not gonna like just, you know, question our motives, our agendas with the music that we generate through it, right? So we're gonna do a whole lot of, but before it gets there, it's like you have to hit points like this. We have to hit, you know what I'm saying, periods of times where it's like it's gonna happen to real life artists. Oh, for sure. Because I feel like, you know, the ultimate agenda is so that they just use just these technological, you know, devices and advancements and AI, dog, to push their capital growth, and you know what I'm saying, their capitalism and shit like that. But then obviously they need more control. You cannot control a human being, well, another independent human being 100%, regardless of the fact that they're, you know, trapped within a 360 deal. Motherfucker can still be online and, you know, speak against your agendas of their, you know, of their being in a 360 deal. They can speak out. In other words, AI will not speak out. AI can never speak out. You know what I'm saying? Unless we really do get to the point where it develops its own, you know, autonomous conscience. I don't know, like consciousness or awareness or decision making, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Until it gets there, then it might also like just start speaking out and start rebelling. And then, you know, these mages might have to find another way to just like control that version of, you know what I'm saying, their asset.
They're exchanging around the order of things. They can do anything to it. And once you sign on to that, you won't have anything to do. You won't be able to do anything about that. And I'm just so done with these tech companies that are bleeding the artists and consumers that make their position possible in the first place. Like, maybe make the platform better for us, but no, we just get Spotify wrapped in all these cool ways to map out how much of an impact we've made. Impact these pockets.
And what's crazy about that clip is that he doesn't seem to be alone in his thoughts and his feelings, right? Like, I'm starting to see a lot of sentiments from artists who feel exactly like that, citing things like, hey, they're using our creative energy, you know what I'm saying, our IP, in order to create funds to do things that don't even align with where I feel, you know, my art should be going, or, you know what I'm saying, things that just make it better for us and make it easier for
like, look at it this way, right? Like, I already live in the expected reality where AI is being signed by major labels, right? Like these AI artists. But look at it like this, bro. With that AI being the AI that it is, you know what I'm saying, having the voice that it is, the vocal projection, the writing instructions, human beings have to you know, write for it. And some of these artists, like, I feel like maybe used to encrypt, you know what I'm saying, some of these vocal projections onto AI so that it can have a voice. You know what I'm saying? Encrypt some of their writing skills, you know what I'm saying, onto this AI so that it can be able to take instructions on what to write. You know what I'm saying? Now with that happening, they'll be using real artists. You know what I'm saying? So the question of the AI, when we talking, you know, about the AI, we're about to get to the, because this inevitably will lead to that conversation of AI being the artist. You know what I'm saying? So once we get there, it's like, yo, it's still the artist, it's still the real human artist that they had to use for this AI to be the way that it is, right? How is we gonna compensate the IP on that front? You know what I'm saying? It's gonna get tricky though. It's gonna get really tricky. I'm not gonna lie.
Let's to maneuver and grow our careers. So while the industry may label some of these artists, you know what I'm saying, upset or bitter, I think they're just being honest. Because here's the truth. They sold us that streaming will be what gives artists the same leverage and access to the industry. But we're starting to see that that's not completely true. So today, let's talk about why artists are walking away from streaming and what comes next. But before we get into that, I want to take this time out to shout out some of the community members, because without
especially the part of what comes next, I'm very much like interested in that part, right? I'm like, yeah, very curious about like what's about to come next. You know what I'm saying? I don't know about y'all.
Now, in order for us to completely understand why artists are feeling like they have to walk away from streaming, we got to start with the math.
How much do streaming platforms pay in 2025, and how many streams would it take to make $1,000? Let's talk about it. Now, up above, I have the most popular DSPs and the payouts per stream listed next to it. As you can probably guess, every platform is going to pay under a penny per stream, but there are going to be some that are better than others. So, at number one, we have Tidal. To make $1,000, you're roughly going to need about 78,000 streams. Up next, we have Apple Music. To make 1,000, you're going to need roughly 133,000 streams. Next, we have Spotify, which of course is the most popular DSP. So usually most people are going to find most of their streams come from Spotify. 347,000 streams. Next up, we have Amazon Music, and you're going to need about $250,000
for $1,000. $250,000 streams for $1,000
streams for that. And lastly, we have YouTube Music, which is going to take roughly 1.45 million streams to make $1,000.
Oh, okay. I guess this kind of speaks to the oversaturation of these platforms, right? Because obviously, a platform like YouTube, I feel like a whole lot of artists that even put their music out for free can just independently put their music on YouTube, right? So they like the demand for music. I don't know if that means the demand for music on YouTube is, that high that it just like, what I'm saying, a whole lot of people are on YouTube anyways. You feel what I'm saying? And with that being the fact, a whole lot more people need to stream your stuff for the same, for the same size of the pie, so to speak. You know what I'm saying?
So yeah, those are the real numbers that we're looking at in terms of stream payouts. And I can imagine how it feels as an artist to look at the landscape and sometimes wonder like, man, would I be better off selling water bottles at a football game than trying to spend this money to push this song to 250,000 streams just so I can make back maybe 40% of the budget that I put into it? Especially when it probably wasn't cheap to make the music, and it definitely wasn't cheap to push it, right? Like some of you guys have run marketing campaigns. You know how much effort and time you might have to put into something just to even get 20,000 plays, 100,000 plays on one platform, let alone multiple platforms. But the really sad thing is it can get worse because the platform you choose to upload your music can also impact how much money you earn.
So you might know that Spotify pays a different rate depending on if the person's streaming is coming from the United States versus India or the United Kingdom or Canada or whatever. It's a different rate per stream in every single country. What you might not know is that every distributor actually pays a different rate, and the distributor that you choose might actually dictate whether you make more or less every single month from Spotify, Apple Music, etc. So you can see right off the bat, Spotify United States as of 2020, if you look at something like TuneCore, the average royalty rate is about 0.4 cents or $0.004 per stream, compared to Horus Music, which is 0.25 cents or 0.0025. Now we can flip over to
These are nasty numbers, brother. I'm not gonna hold you.
Apple Music in the United States for 2020. And we see a similar story, although ironically, Horus Music is in first place. So this is the United States for Spotify and Apple. But what if we go over to the UK? It's a lot more flat here, so 0.48 cents all the way down to 0.38 cents. So this difference is a lot more subtle than before. One thing I can say across all of this, the two ones that stand out the most are DistroKid and TuneCore. So you might know that Spotify pays a different rate.
So you heard Andrew, right? Different distributors, different rates. At this point, figuring out how much money you're going to make from streaming has turned into a pretty complex math equation.
Yeah,
especially if you're an artist who are really just starting to dip their toes into understanding the process to make money. You got to account for what platform the music is being streamed on. You got to account for where the person is streaming from, right? Like a US stream is more than a stream from like India, Russia or something like that. And then you also got to think about who am I choosing to put my music out, and knowing that all of that can have an effect on how much you're being paid out for your work.
Yeah, and how much, you know what I'm saying?
And the different distributors one to me is crazy because it's kind of like learning that, you know what I'm saying, the same meal costs two drastically different prices at different restaurants. You know, like one spot is selling chicken tenders for $5.99 and the other got a $15 special running on. It makes you wonder what's the difference between those two organizations, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's going on here? But the whole system has basically retrained artists to think about quantity over quality, because the more songs you can create, the more content you can produce to promote those songs, the more you can build your catalog, and ideally the more streaming revenue that you generate. But the reality is that the more songs get uploaded, the more money the platforms make, and really the artists are getting what's left over. So when artists say they're leaving streaming, as much as it,
but that is even the content creation. Like if we're talking not even just specifically music, just content, videos and things like that, like the YouTube model, isn't that the YouTube model as well? Because like it is about, you know, how frequently you upload the content, you know what I'm saying? It's about like like generating the thing so that you get your viewers on the platform, and you know what I'm saying, the more the viewers stay on the platforms, the more opportunity for them to make money, you know what I'm saying? And then obviously they get the top percent of that bag, while everyone else, the creators, they get they get the crumbs and shit. Well, yeah, well, you know what I'm saying?
it can feel like an artistic
I think I'm making sense. I don't know.
expression or even ego. It's really just starting to look like basic math. And even then, for a lot of artists, it's not even about the money. It's about the lack of communication with these platforms, the lack of transparency, and feeling powerless over something that they created.
I have to air this out. About a month ago, I noticed that one of my songs, Never Gonna Come Down, was added to an independent Spotify playlist for one day. It got 10,000 streams that day, and then it was taken off the playlist. I thought it was weird, but I really didn't think that much of it. And I never paid for any third-party playlisting campaigns or hired any services that were guaranteeing me a certain amount of streams.
Yeah.
I had no idea who was running the playlist or why my song was even added to it. And a few days ago, I got an email from Spotify for Artists saying that there were artificial streams detected on my music, but they didn't give me any details on what songs were flagged. Even when
but again, man, come on, bro. When we talking about like playlists and stuff like that, because okay, I know a whole lot of artists, you know, like one of the ways that they can thrive on a platform like Spotify is being on playlists, right? And now being playlisted, bro, I feel like obviously that's a strategy for, you know, the people that guarantee you streams when you buy them. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about busting. Like, playlists guarantee streams. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, for somebody to guarantee streams, you have to guarantee that somebody's gonna have to listen to your song, right? Now, imagine how many artists are on the platform already. Like, that would, like, in some instances, looking at it from a certain aspect, it would be almost impossible for the platform to get your specific song in front of people's faces. So that element of it makes it kind of tough to guarantee the stream. So what's gonna have to happen? We're gonna have to artificially generate the stream. We're gonna have to bot that shit. You know what I'm saying? So, and I feel like that's why, that 10K whatever streams or 100K streams, it is guaranteed. But then obviously it's fake, my nigga. You feel what I'm saying? Obviously it's fake because it's limited space and it's limited spaces that the platform itself can put all these artists' music in front of. That to some degree, dog, it's like once they reach their limit, they're gonna have to do the artificial streams, bro. Feel me? So just like, but the point I'm trying to make is that, you know what I'm saying, just being optimistic, being enthusiastic about just like your stuff being on playlists. I feel like just note that you just might be taken down for, you know what I'm saying, botting streams or some shit like that without even you knowing that type shit. You know what I'm saying? But then I feel like this is a wake up call for you to blame the fact that you bought your streams, you bought it. If that's what you do, you understand what I'm saying? That right there might just be like a big contributor to that kind of shit.
When I reached out to the Spotify for artists
and I mean, you know what I'm saying, to your shit eventually being taken down.
Support team, they weren't able to provide me with any details on which songs this was about. Yep. But I started thinking back to when my song Never Gonna Come Down was added to this playlist for one day, and I started thinking
Never Gonna Come Down, and they took it down. Damn, how ironic. Damn.
That was the cause. A few days later, I was logging into my DistroKid account, and DistroKid is the distribution that I use to get my music on Spotify, Apple, and everywhere else. When I went to log in, I got a pop-up that redirected me to a page that said that 98% of the streams from the Never Gonna Come Down song were artificial.
Oh, 98%.
As a result, Spotify removed the whole album that song was on, my album From the Woods. The album is still up on other platforms, but it's not on Spotify anymore. When I was on this DistroKid pop-up, I had to check boxes agreeing that I would never pay for fake streams, and I was even given a warning that sometimes artists and labels have to pay penalties when artificial streams are detected on their music. I feel like I'm being penalized for something.
But then sometimes you see, now that's another troubling thing about being signed, bro, is the fact that the label can do these things on your behalf, right? The label can like be buying artificial streams, be buying things, you know what I'm saying, that you may not know that they do. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that kind of promise may come packaged in another way. It's like they're not being like, yo, yeah, we're gonna take your song to the top if you use our platform, and you know what I'm saying, and we're gonna bot for you and we're gonna buy no, they're not gonna put it in that way. They're gonna put it in like, yo, buy this package, the premium pack or the platinum package, blah blah, because the higher the package, the higher the package status symbol or whatever, it's like the more expensive the thing is, and the more people pick the more expensive ones, the more money they make, bro. You know what I'm saying? But then they have to guarantee certain things to where now once those things that they guarantee and promise, because you paid the higher option, they're gonna reach their limit. And once they reach their limit, they're gonna have to artificially generate like what they promised, aka those streams, bro. You know what I'm saying? Come on, bro. No one man should have all that power, bro. No one man can have all that capacity to just like guarantee anybody that goes on their platform success. You understand what I'm saying? Because now it's about, as long as I can pay the whatever $2,000 plus package, as long as I can pay that, man, all of this stuff is guaranteed. But imagine if 2 billion people get that. Is 2 billion people gonna receive that promise? Well, according to theoretically how you set up your thing, your business model, those 2 people have to come up with that shit. So what you gonna do? You gonna have to bot. Yes. Come on, man. This is basic 1 + 1 = 2 type shit. And so now the trouble in that is that, okay, the point that I was trying to make was the fact that labels can do this on on the behalf of artists. And then now you get artists where it's like, bro, I just like signed up with Spotify, da da da, and then now my shit is just like automatically taken down by da da da. What's that about? Like, what's good about? You know what I'm saying? Type shit. So
something that I didn't even do, and it's pretty
that's
concerning.
Wrong.
As
that's wrong. Yeah, that's that's my period point. That's wrong. Wrong.
Artists that anyone could add any artist's song to a Spotify playlist that has bots and artificial streams on it, and as a result, their music could be removed from the platform.
So imagine that, right? Like, imagine grinding for weeks or months or years, putting together something that you feel proud of, you feel ready to share with the world,
bro.
And then poof, it's Thanos snapped away. No warning, no explanation, no refund. And I think that for a long time, artists have not been shy or ignorant to the fact that, you didn't buy a house. You're pretty much working on rented land. But I think we've gotten to a point to where the platforms are making sure to remind you of that. And they're not being shy about the fact of, we make the rules and we can flip the switch anytime.
Facts.
Wait, quick pause, because a lot of you have been...
Facts.
Now, in this next clip, Jane Lee, aka Your Indie Mama, said something that really stuck out to me.
Everything came along to solve a problem, and then created another problem. First, we had sheet music. Everyone played music, they didn't listen to it. And thanks to Mr. Edison, phonograph cylinders, wax tubes from the 1800s, could play a few minutes of music. For the first time, people had music in their homes, but it wasn't enough. Why? So then came the shellac disc, the 78, standardized, but extremely brittle. So then they invented vinyls, lighter, smoother, more durable. So vinyls solved fragility, but now the problem became portability. So then came the cassette tape that you could fit in your pocket. The Walkman allowed you to take the music anywhere. But then came the CD, more perfect sound. Then the problem became access. So then enters Napster. Why buy one when you can download them all for free? Piracy exploded, and the music business almost ran out of business. Problem became ownership. So then enters Apple iTunes. Buy one song legally. But then streaming came along and said you don't need to own, you just need to have full access.
Then what happened?
And now, for the first time, the problem is not the convenience of the listener. Streaming solved access. Infinite exposure, but microscopic payouts. Infinite access, loss of value. Instead of learning artists and music, we were bound by the algorithm. The algorithm feeds the music that consumers consume. Infinite music everywhere, but zero.
And it's crazy that, now artists, like, how the authenticity of their art has been snatched out, or the value in the authenticity of the artist has been snatched away, is in the fact that they have been creating for the algorithm. You don't even create for your artist anymore, bruh. What happened? What happened? No. You cannot blame any other thing for you quitting music, bro, other than the fact that you were sucked into the rabbit hole of creating music for the algorithm. And like, I say this like respectfully, but even creators, man, when we're talking about, video creating, things like this for platforms like YouTube, for platforms like Twitch, bro, it's for, well, I don't know if Twitch's algorithm, nah, I wouldn't think so. I don't even think Rumble is algorithm based, but like, creators across board are just like creating for the algorithm, my nigga, you know what I'm saying? This might just be an indirect admission of guilt over myself. I mean, you can see, like, look at this video. Pretty sure it's not even more than 10 views on this. Did you see me keep going? It's because, the algorithm gods, man, like me and, them kind of have this contractual agreement that, I'm talking intuitively, though. We have this kind of agreement that, I'm saying, I'm gonna keep going. And you go, you promised some shit when, what I'm saying? For as long as niggas keep going, what I'm saying? And I'm just exposing the mindset that, like, creators end up adopting while creating for the algorithm. It's for some sort of guaranteed outcome. Nah, keep cranking out enough videos, man, you're gonna get to a certain numbers, view count, sub count, get monetized, blah blah. And, what I'm saying? We here for the cheese, man. Come on, you can't be mad at a nigga here for the chicken. Chasing chicken. That's how we surviving. Hey, I'm not a negative nigga. I'm just a realist with it. You know what I'm saying? I'll just admit it. But you know what I'm saying? That's what it is. Niggas is just creating for the algorithm. Point blank. Period. That's it. That's all.
Listener turned into a scroller. The artist became a content machine, chasing playlist placements
instead
of purpose. And because artists get paid 0.003 cents per stream, it's about quantity over quality, isn't it? So music became faster, smaller, shallower, formulaic, shorter. Because when artists aren't paid enough to create deeply, listeners aren't given anything to deeply connect with or to.
Right.
So the new problem we face right now is disconnection, isn't it? So what's next? Maybe ownership-based streaming? where fans earn equity for engagement. Maybe artist to fan ecosystems where intimacy replaces algorithm, where you can build your own world, invite them in, and eliminate all the middlemen, where you don't have to do a million things to actually find out who your fans are. I don't know the future. I'm not a fortune teller, but one thing's for certain. Every new format solved a problem.
So she broke that down perfectly, right? And she said it best. Every new format of music solves an issue, usually for the consumer, but then creates a new type of issue for the artists and the people that have to work behind it in the music industry. And while streaming has fixed accessibility to music, and I think made it to where more people know about more artists today than I think any generation of music listeners. You know what I'm saying? Like the average music fan today probably has like 40, 50 favorite artists and may still be discovering new things. So while it may have opened some certain doors in terms of discoverability, in terms of more artists being able to get access, you can't ignore the fact that streaming has kind of damaged the relationship between artists and their fans and has made it very shallow and very transactional. And that hit me because even though we may be arguably exposed.
And then now I feel like, you know, with that being said, it's like, for the artists that are actually there for the deeper meaning and the true authentic value that they believe their art can have on their fans, it's like it makes it harder for those kind of artists to connect to those fans, their fans, the people that connect to the, you know, art on some deeper vibes more than just like, you know, the numbers, you know, version of the relationship, of the connection, right? So it's crazy. I ain't gonna lie.
To more music, as music fans today, music fans of yesteryear may have gotten to know their favorite artists way more intimately. They got to get liner notes, they got to go to shows, they got to really feel like they were a part of something. But now today, most artists just see their fans as a profile pic and a stream count on the DSP. But on the positive side, I think that everybody's starting to notice that that connection is missing.
I'm sitting here thinking, I really just deleted all my music streaming apps. Girl, what the? No Tidal, no Spotify. No Apple Music.
As a consumer or as an artist?
And no SoundCloud? As someone who loves music and listens to music every single day, all day, I'm the friend that's going to send you a link regardless of the time of day. Nice. I notice how easy it is to consume music. The music algorithm from these streaming services are pushing projects to you based on things that you've listened to in the past. And for me personally, it's taking the intentionality out of discovering new artists, new genres, and new projects. I will be using physical copies of music such as CDs and vinyl records. And I will also be using NTS Radio. NTS Radio is a global radio platform that broadcasts music from over 50 different cities across the globe 24/7. Did I mention I'm doing this challenge for 15 days?
Now you see that, doesn't that put a smile in you guys' heart just to see that fans are waking up?
Let me feel that. Smile in my heart. I don't know. Maybe nah. I'm not gonna cap. Not really.
I mean, she's literally detoxing.
No. This is a W idea though. It's a W.
From streaming. You know what I'm saying? Just treating it like she cannot fast food for a diet. And for me, this is what we've all been waiting for. We've been waiting for what artists need in terms of surviving and being able to scale their career to meet and match with what fans are thinking and what fans want from their favorite artists. Because that's when you know and start to see something really shift. When not only the artists are complaining about the thing, but the fans are complaining about it as well. And even better, even the higher side of the music industry is finally starting to admit it.
Where the music business is going is we are going back to direct-to-consumer. Direct-to-consumer basically means there's no middleman. If I sold Boomy a CD right now, that's direct-to-consumer versus me hitting upload, putting it on Spotify and say, hey, boom, go listen to my music on Spotify. Well, Spotify would be the middleman because he paid them and then they gave me some money versus him just handing me a $10 bill right here. Like it's direct-to-consumer. So that's direct-to-consumer, right? Now, the music industry used to be that when we were selling CDs, vinyls, 8-tracks, etc., right? But now, because of technology, we don't even have to spend that cost. We don't have to press up CDs and mail it off to the FYE store. It's literally just a digital link. So it costs us $0.
That's a fact.
We put it up, they buy it, they get that digital link, they can listen to our music. So
now that's right though. Like well, with you know, when all is said and done, we can, you know, admit the fact that it has cut away. Well, it has made, you know, things more convenient, right? For you to just like put out music and have your music, you know, have the opportunity to get to your fan for you having spent $0 for it to get to the fan. I mean, you still had to spend something to get the device that you're gonna upload the thing with, you know what I'm saying? So that you can download the platform Spotify so that you can put your music, you know what I'm saying? There's money there, but like money in terms of like you having to take your music and take it to your fan. You know what I'm saying? And like at no cost. So it's convenient in that way, and also getting your music to your fan. So it's like it's been like a central spot where you as the artist place your music there, and fans, you know what I'm saying, music consumers all flock there to just like go and consume your thing. You know what I'm saying? Instead of like, I don't know, them hitting a physical store that they have to go travel to and go get the CD and things like that. So like in terms of convenience, these streaming platforms have played their role, but you know what I'm saying, I feel like, yeah, they have overstayed they welcome. Is that how they say it? Overstayed they welcome.
Well, it's even more gravy for us now because there's no cost involved in us selling our music direct to our fans. And so there are platforms that we can do this on that we'll get into later. Right. But the moral of the story is I need to, whereas 2 years ago I was training artists to build and grow their streams, right now I'm training everybody how to sell their music. I just wanted to make sure everybody understands that's where we're headed. We're headed into a direct-to-consumer economy. Yeah. And so I want to make sure you guys are prepared and ahead of that curve.
So that's J.R. McKee, longtime music exec, and he said it best. The industry is going back to where artists have to go direct to consumer, meaning you, the artist, have to be able to find people that care not only about your music but also about you, and then figure out a way to sell them unique products and unique experiences while also keeping the traditional music artist things a high quality experience as well. And it's as simple as that, right? Like that's the future. Artists going straight to the people without the middleman. And it sounds so simple, right? Because, I mean, let's be real. Being direct to consumer is not a new thing in the music industry. We've seen good examples of that from back in the day with like Master P and No Limit, you know what I'm saying? Even to like MF Doom before he passed. There's been a lot of examples of good direct to consumer relationships within the music artist community. But I think that everybody got so caught up by the streaming game. They saw all the massive numbers that were coming out of it, especially during the early TikTok viral era. And I get it. Everybody wanted to go try to play the game. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wanted to shoot the shot and see where it landed them. And a part of me feels like not only were we waiting for the fans to catch up with where artists needed to be in the industry, right? Like not only were we waiting for consumer behavior to shift, but we were also waiting for a good indie artist example to show that it's possible.
He's like, hold on, you got more than 100 people to buy my album and they don't know who I was? I was like, yeah. He's like, I'm posting this right now. He goes live on Instagram, posts it. He makes $27,000 in a matter of hours. I met LaRussell in September. I did a call with him. First thing,
LaRussell, man. Shout out LaRussell, bro. I feel like, his model definitely. And like, here's another thing that I just wanted to point out in the MOS part, bro, that I didn't point out, is the fact that this kind of model, right, this kind of DTC model, even the little Russ version of it, right, it just like, it could have you not known by people maybe at the other end of, the planet, you know what I'm saying, that may just potentially fall in love with your music, you feel me, like, let's say if the possibility of your music to reach that other part of the planet was possible, you know what I'm saying, with you becoming a direct to consumer. I mean, at that point you need the middleman, right, of which we're trying to cut the middleman out. But so, they may not know your music is what I'm trying to say, but that's cool too, because the people that are here, bro, it's about going deeper with them. It's about like, deepening your value with these that you have here instead of widening your reach, right? So it's about deepening the value instead of widening the reach, of which it's like, once you get into this loop of creating music, this current loop that everybody's in, of creating music for the algorithm, you know what I'm saying, you easily fall into that rabbit hole of just like, I would just want to widen the reach instead of deepen the value. You see what I'm saying? Because now you end up having to cater for a whole range of people, instead of like sticking to the people that really mess with your music heavy, doubling down, tripling down on that type. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying.
What Russell told me on the call was, Mag, why should we use even when I'm already doing everything you're trying to do with your platform? Like, you're 100% right. You're already doing it. But the thing is, you can be doing 100 other things. We sent it, and the day we were going to go live, he's like, Mag, this just feels a little complicated. I don't think I'm going to do it. We get off the phone. So I call him back, and I was like, LaRussell, give me 24 hours. Let me show you what I can do first. And he's like, Mag, if you can sell 200 copies in 24 hours, I will post this on my social media. I call him, and I was disappointed. I was like, look, man, I tried. We sold like 170 or something. something. It's cool. Like, I get it. He's like, hold on, you got more than 100 people to buy my album and they don't know who I was? I was like, yeah. He's like, I'm posting this right now. He goes live on Instagram, posts it. He makes $27,000 in a matter of hours.
So that's Mag Rodriguez from the platform Even, speaking on the rapper La Russell, and yeah, you heard him. $27,000 in a single day. Not from a label, not from a playlist, but with sales from his family, his community that love him and loves his music. Right. They were able to come together and partner and create a system where they could monetize their most loyal and loving fans instead of having to beg somebody else for it. And you guys know how I feel about La Russell. You know what I'm saying? Like, he is one of the best modern examples of an indie artist who is also documenting it while he's going through it for his fan base and for artists. But even La Russell would tell you himself that even though this direct-to-consumer model seems to be the future of the music industry, that doesn't mean that it's any easier than building up your streaming platform.
A lot of people are scared to go offer-based because they know they haven't done that work in the community and within their base to warrant that type of support.
That's what I was saying. Like, and I feel like, Lil Russell is an artist that like highlights that the kind of reality where it's like, yes, direct-to-consumer is a beautiful thing. It's really great, but then now you got to put in the work to just like put in the groundwork, plant the seeds so that, the community, your close-knit community of fans that you will be building independently, you know what I'm saying, that the value there is so deep that they, even spread out the message of you. You know what I'm saying? Because that's one of the ways you could rely on your brand to grow within the whole independent realm, you know what I'm saying, the direct-to-consumer realm. It's like you have to put in the work, and that's where it is going to be felt. Like the void of the streaming platforms, once they're done away with, they're going to be felt in that they made that convenient. You know what I'm saying? You didn't have to get out of your house to go get your music heard by your people. Now you're gonna have to go out the house. But now I feel like the meaning of the value in that has changed. You know what I'm saying? People are understanding like, what this could do and mean in the long run, in the long term. Shout out Russ, man. But this video has gone on for way too long, brother. You know what I'm saying? Check it out, man. Check it out. No Labels Necessary is the channel, right? Hold on. Let me just do that. No Labels is the channel right here. Why artists are finally leaving Spotify in 2025. Right. For our niggas joint though. I mean, y'all